I'm from Good Relax, and I'm Adam. And today I would like to share with you guys the characteristics of an effective speaker. So the first thing that I want to address to you guys is a good speaker has to dress well. Alright. So people judge on your first impression. So if let's say you don't dress well, people might not be feeling interested in your speech or talk and whatsoever in the first place. Alright. So the best way is to dress appropriately. You don't have to be too formal, but you definitely want to show your audience that you really care about what you're wearing, and also you put a little bit of time and thoughts in your wearing. So the second one will be to speak up loud. Okay, not only to the front row, but also to the back row. That means when you speak, you have to make sure that the audience can hear you without the monitor. Alright, so if you are like mumbling and you kind of like quiet, and you are talking like this, very soft, alright, your audience wouldn't be like it. Alright, so moving on to the third one is your posture when you want to deliver your speech. Alright, you have to be laid out, and you have to be okay being on the stage, and you have to be relaxed, because your audience will only be relaxed when you are relaxed. Alright, so yeah, that's all from me. Alright,
Okay, next is characteristics of the effective speaker is confidence. According to a study published by the University of Wolverhampton, a highly confident speaker is viewed as being more accurate, competent, credible, intelligent, knowledgeable, likable, and believable than the less confident and certain speaker. When it comes to public speaking, confidence is a key. Not the only key, mind you. When speaking in public, it's only natural to be nervous. In fact, Mark Twain had said that there are only two types of speaker in this world. One is the nervous, and two is the liars. There are two maintained antidotes for anxiety. Thank you.
In order to really communicate to people through speech, you need to have patience about your subject. Without patience, your speech is meaningless. There is no need to attempt to practice sincerity by practicing your speech with a racer's voice. Simply focus on how you feel about your top and those that you are communicating with. It can be hard to be passionate about your topic when you present at work, but not really engage in the activity. Sometimes, to show passion about a topic that does not completely excite you, you need to dig deep into the topic and find things that interest you. That said, for most of us, when we want to telegraph passion, we need to do so with racer's voice, higher voice, and more hand gesture, more body movement in general, all the sign of energy and passion that we are used to recognizing. But rather than thinking about this as technical exercise, the better way is to focus on the patient itself. Before you go into an important meeting, begin a high stake speech, or have that conversation with your teenager that you have been putting off. Focus on the way you feel about the topic and the person or people you are communicating with. This technique has two benefits. First, it will put you in the moment if you do it well, allowing you to connect the people conversation and appear authentic and charismatic. And second, it will occupy your mind and keep you from getting nervous. Being passionate is ultimately about allowing yourself to fully experience the emotion, inhabit, reveal it in, and soak it up. That way you will send a consistent message, not a mixed one, and you will come across as an authentic communicator. That's all from me.
One of the characteristics of effective speaker is practice but not memorization. Most of the people nowadays prefer to memorize their speech compared to practice their speech over and over time before the presentation. In order to be yourself in a presentation, you should not memorize your speech in absolutes. Practice your speech as often as possible, but be willing to change up the wording. This makes it easier to change it up during the actual presentation if the things are not going exactly as planned. Memorization can set up a barrier between you and your audience. So avoid memorization and practice your speech. And if possible, speak it in a natural voice, because any connection you have made with your audience could be broken by tones that seem fake or not or too perfect.
Okay, from my viewpoint, the characteristic to be an effective speaker is that you need to connect with your audience. Like, actually the speech is like a conversation. It's like how you communicate with other people. So it seems like how you are talking with your friends or other people. So why I say that you need to connect with your audience is because that during the speech, when the speaker giving the speech in front, and then you will see that some of the audience were playing with their phones, surfing the webs, reading the email, and so on. So as a speaker, your responsibility is to make sure that all your audience are concentrate to your speech. So because you cannot ask them to turn off their phone, but you can make them to put their device down. So we can do it by like we can ask some question, or we can make some jokes so that it make a sense of humor. Like the jokes will deliver to the speakers that to the audience that they can relax and so on. So like furthermore, you also can make some warm up with your audience, like ask them how are you guys, or have you guys eaten? So when they feel that you are a friendly speaker, they will more concentrate to your speech, and then they will it's like the interact with your audience. Thank you.
Okay, I'm good. Presentation. Presentation is very common in our life during our studies, right? But how to be an effective speaker? Here, I have a tip to share with you how to be an effective speaker. I think the best way to be an effective speaker is paint a picture through storytelling. Storytelling means we have to create a story or be a good storyteller. It is important because we have to make a connection to audience so that they can pay attention or hear what we present of. If we just be a formal presenter in front of audience, they will feel sleepy and boring. For example, simple, right? Just be a storyteller in your presentation. Thank you.